Hello, hello. Hello. Welcome again. And thanks for coming out for Women's International Day during Women's History Month. It is a great time to gather together to reflect on the progress of equality, equity, and inclusion in our community and beyond. Hello, there we go. My name is Christina Isabel, and I'm the outgoing president of the Commission for Women. So I'm so glad that you are all here. On February 28, 1909, the United Nations observed the first National Women's Day, followed by a dedication by the Socialist Party of America. To advocate for women's rights and suffrage, Clara Zetkin proposed establishing an annual Women's Day in 1910 during the International Conference for Working Women in Copenhagen. It met with unanimous approval that led to the first International Women's Day being celebrated in 1911 across Austria, Denmark, Germany, and Switzerland. International Women's Day has great significance for gender equality and women's rights. This day gives a platform to raise awareness about women's rights across sectors, including social, economic, cultural, and political achievements. I need my glasses. International Women's Day is devoted to celebrating the achievements of women in seeking gender equality. The campaign theme in 2024 is Inspire Inclusion, while the official theme for the UN is Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. And according to the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap, it'll take 131 years for gender parity. That's a long time. Yeah, it's amazing. That is one reason the Commission chose entrepreneurship and empowerment as our focus, as well as the fact that Michigan City is a place of transformation and change, especially in terms of economic development. With the new train station and new developments, we are on the Commission to make sure that our local community is staying abreast of the opportunities and to offer a place to share and expand collaborations to support women's economic development. Today is a day to listen to each other, see each other, support and learn about a few organizations in town with a focus on entrepreneurship and empowerment. We have gathered a wonderful panel that can offer us insights on leadership, job development, and resources. And after talking to a number of you, many entrepreneurs in this audience, you might have some good things to say as well. Before we get going on the program, I'd like to thank a few people who have made the luncheon possible. I would like to thank the subcommittee for developing this year's program, Linda Conley, Faye Moore, Lori Wink. Thank you to Andrew White and Kevin from Alco for filming our event and to helping with the tech needs. You will be able to see it online, so you can share it with friends after the program as well. Elise Kermani from the Dune Arts Theater for sound support. Nakia of Nakia Can Cook, once more time. Local entrepreneur. Terry Gritham of Special Events for the City for printing support. And a special thank you to Minority Health Partners of LaPorte for partnering and co-sponsoring today's program with the Commission. And I should say the Commission is always looking for partners to develop programs and maybe even create a series of conversations. So make sure you fill out, there's a survey in your program, fill that out so we can find out how you want to interact with us, or the Commission. It is so exciting to see some City Council members here today, as we are our City Commission, and our goal is to advocate and inform our leaders of what is happening in our community and what issues are at the forefront of concern for women today, not just locally, but statewide and nationally. A special thank you to Mayor Angie Nelson Deitch for being our City Council liaison for a few years. And congratulations again on being Michigan City's African-American female mayor. We look forward to working with you in this future, but most importantly, happy birthday. And we are also happy to have Sheila Matthias, the first female mayor of Michigan City, with us. And she will be on the panel today. I also want to acknowledge Deb Chubb. She was one of the founding members of the Commission for Women. And she is truly doing the hard work of getting women to run for office and to be involved. We need more women and Black women at the table It truly is the only way we will see significant change in our systems. So thank you, Deb, for your support and for all that you do. Ooh. This year has been a big turnover for the Commission for Women, and I want to acknowledge those whose terms expired and introduce you to the new commissioners who will be taking the reins and will continue the fight for equality, equity, and inclusion for all people: women, men, Black, white, brown, Indigenous, and LGBTQ+. First, Veronica Martin, who couldn't be here today as she works at the Swanson Center. She was on the commission for 4 years as a city council appointee, and she is an entrepreneur as well. She has just started her own private practice on Franklin Street, so we are excited for her and wish her the best. I joined the commission 8 years ago, along with this next amazing woman, Bob Schaaf, who has served as president, vice president, and treasurer for the commission. She developed many inspiring history projects for and with the commission. She was a co-chair of the Naomi Anderson Sculpture Project and created the digital library of Naomi Anderson at the Purdue Northwestern. She also helped develop legislative reports for the commission to get us to pay attention not just locally, but to what bills and legislation that focuses on women is being brought to the table in our state. I learned so much from her. She couldn't be, but thank you so much. Oh, my pages. Okay. Next, I want to honor two legends in Michigan City for their dedication to community, inspiring voices, and leading with integrity and purpose. Faye Moore was a founding member of the commission 12 years ago. She helped write the ordinance with Pat Boy. She has served as president and did a great job keeping us together during COVID, figuring out the Zoom rules. She was the NAAC appointee, and we thank her for her work there as well. She is one active woman. Faye was also on the Naomi Anderson Sculpture Committee, and she was always willing to step up, offer opinions, and do the good work. So thanks, Faye. Let's stand up, Faye. Okay, where am I? And I should mention that March 1st was Naomi Anderson Day, and if you haven't seen the sculpture in Westcott Park, you should stop by there after lunch. The Commission for Women was a major sponsor and supporter of the project, and it truly is a gift to our city. Finally, we are honoring another founding member and one of my favorite people and dear friends, Albertine Allen. Albertine was a minority health appointee, and she can't seem to retire and still works a few days a week. She has served in various roles on the commission, but for the last 2 years, she was vice president, and we worked closely together to develop the programs. She was a big supporter on last year's International Women's Day program on embracing equity in healthcare. She is a true Michigan City historian and a great storyteller. I love laughing with you, Miss Tiny, so let's keep our breakfast dates going. Please stand. All of these commissioners volunteered their time, knowledge, and positive energy to supporting the mission of equality in women in all of our life. My life has been enhanced by knowing and working with all of you. Thank you so much for all that you have done and all that you will continue to do. My term is up as well, and I have enjoyed 8 years of learning about various programs in Michigan City, and it has been a pleasure to develop and support the past few years of programs and initiatives. What I've come to understand over the years and what I'm trying to help make happen, or I suppose I still have questions on how to make it happen, is how do we all come together, all of us in this room, to inspire trust, community pride, and support the growth and development and unlimited potential for all of us to live a fulfilled life. That, to me, is a goal of a civic-minded life and one that is a worthwhile pursuit. I am grateful for this opportunity on the Commission, and it has been my pleasure. Thank you. Now is the time to meet the new commissioners, and I wish them well as they step into the roles with an opportunity to continue the good work for our community. You've already briefly met Jackie Jones, who welcomed you here. She is the new president of the commission. And we have met a few times over the last month, and I believe you will grow nicely into this role. Linda Conley has stepped into the vice president position. Lori Wink is remaining as secretary. Charlene Livesey is back in her role as treasurer. And Sarah Jones is in her last year on the commission, and I am so glad you could be here today because she is a teacher and she can't always join us on these daytime events. So I really appreciate all that you've done with us. Rounding out the commission this year is Keisha Ward, who gave the invocation. She is the new minority health appointee. Angela Carter is a city council appointee. Kiana Edwards is the new NAACP appointee, and Nyla Williams is a mayor appointee. Care. Actually, if all the commissioners could stand so we can see you, that'd be great. Thank them again. And thanks again for all of you for volunteering your time and energy to advocate for women's equality, to help educate and offer resources to our community, and to inform our city leaders of the issues and concerns for truly embracing equity and inclusion. I will continue to support you in any way that I can. I also want to thank who's our city council liaison this year, and thank you so much for bringing youth to our program, because we are really trying to reach youth and young people and to get them involved and invested in our community. All right. Okay. So now that you know who those new commissioners are, say hi to them at the end of this program. And again, tell them what you are interested in. What is important to you today? Fill out that survey. We need to know. We need to hear from you about what you want to hear and consider. That's what we are here for. Today is all about us coming together to help envision and support the economic development within our community through conversations and with the help of our guest panelist, who can shed more light on what is happening in our area. But before we get onto that program, I just want to invite Mayor Angie Nelson-Deitch to say a few words.
Well, it's afternoon now, so good afternoon, everybody. First of all, let me say this about Christina. She stepped up in a way, she was uncomfortable, but you know what? You did a wonderful job. Give her a round of applause, because she really stepped into the position. I don't know if you realize last year, first of all, we've outgrown this space, right? So we don't need to be here anymore, right? But last year we had a very powerful program on health initiatives for women, and this council has really stepped up and stepped into their capacity on how they can impact lives. So them this and picking something every year to focus on, I think is phenomenal. But I do want to acknowledge any former commission members, if you would stand as well. Founding members and former commissioners. I saw Joanne, I saw Belle. Yes, because that's just as important, because they laid the foundation. I was on the council and one of the sponsors for the Women's Commission back then, and now look how far you've come. You need to be in the senior center or somewhere else at Blue Chip or something next year. But I do want to say that we other elected officials, if all of the elected officials, this is weird, but all of the elected officials would stand. Please stand. And some of these people handle the purse strings, so you might want to have a conversation if you're on the commission. But anyway, it is an honor to be here today. This is a wonderful panel. One of my mentors, one of my ride or dies. Lori, I had a mentor myself as an entrepreneur. So it's important that you use these resources. They're important. Most of you have businesses. Right now we have a $25,000 to $25,000 grant available for small businesses. You need to go look on the EDC grant, on the EDC website. It's available now. You should be applying now. The council approved $500,000 for small businesses through ARPA. So you need to acknowledge the fact that the city council has done some wonderful things to try to put money out into the community, but you need to go apply for it. And don't be scared. Don't be scared. We're not gonna send the FBI in on you. We really want to help you with your business and help you grow. That's what we need. Small businesses are the backbone for any community. We want you to grow. So go get that money. Don't hesitate. The money's available. So with that being said, again, I would like to thank the commissioners who have been doing the work. This commission works hard. They try to put information out. Watch their meetings. They always have a speaker. You know, you don't have a lot of commissions that do that, but they put information out to the community. So go on Facebook, go on Alco, and look at their meetings, because they're always putting good content out there. If you can't go personally in person, try to show up and watch live or watch on YouTube. But again, commission does wonderful work. Next year, everybody needs to make sure they RSVP so we don't sell out, because we're sold out, y'all. But this is a good thing. So give the commission a round of applause, and we look forward to next year.
Thank you, Angie. All right, we're going to pass the baton, the wand, microphone to our panelist, and Lori Wink, who will introduce it.
Thanks, Christina. Time for you to all come up here in this row of chairs. To have these distinguished women, empowered women, and empowering women. And we included their bios in the program so that you would have that to refer to. We will allow time afterwards for Q&A. So hopefully you'll be thinking of questions as they are talking. We'll have each of them talk individually, and then we will open it for questions. I just sent a few ideas to the speakers on some topics they might want to cover. The state of women's entrepreneurship in our area, typical challenges faced by women in business, resources available to encourage and support women in becoming business owners, and how does their organization encourage and support women in business? So without further ado, we have Sheila Matthias, Denise Shipgladden, and Laura Felt.
Hi. First, I want to give honor to God, who's the head of my life. And thank you for thinking that I have something to say. I am honored. I would also like to honor my team. Anyone who is a part of the MBA of Northwest Indiana, please stand up. I wanted you to see the diversity, because inclusion is so important. You know, it's okay to invite you to the party, but let me help with the planning. That's what I think is inclusion. That's where you show that you belong to something. And when you belong to something, you are respected. And if you're not respected, it's time to move. When it gets uncomfortable for me, I move. I don't mean that literally, but when you are somewhere that you don't feel welcome, and if you are a part of what's happening here, you should feel welcome, because you are unique. Everyone in here has something to offer. And when people listen to each other and we share that knowledge, that's how we empower. Because there is one race, the human race. Here, here. unless somebody in here is an alien. I'm just saying. But when I work with people, we mentor, we do workshops. The MBA of Northwest Indiana, we're getting ready to do culinary startup classes. We have so many ideas, and there's so many talents within our group. We have young people that are blazing the area, like Miss Candace Adams. And Miss Erica B and Miss Erica M. I have two Ericas, so I have to say Big Erica and Little Erica. But Jerry Jones, I mean, all of you guys have so much to offer what we're doing. Maggie from the Unity Foundation. What we do is each one of us empowers in our own way. And I think that's what makes us so blended. We're able to see what's within that person, because at one time, and Pat, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you. Pat Harris is a founder of what is happening. Yes, you are the trailblazer of what we're trying to accomplish. You have really set the pace. The bar is a little high, but we love you. And if I missed anyone, I just wanted to make sure that you all know that I appreciate what you think that we're doing, because we're making SHIT happen around here. I didn't say it. Okay. You told me to keep it clean. I'm trying.
Sure. No, I'm okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really delighted to be here. My name is Sheila Brilson Matias. Many of you know me, and there's some new faces in the room, and I will be determined to meet everyone before I leave. So I'm honored to be here. I have a long and interesting history in this community. I started out as an English teacher, and I was a stay-at-home mom, and I got involved in politics because I was a little bored, and there were so many things that needed to be fixed. I was not prepared for politics, and each one of us has something we care about. Find the thing that you care about, that really touches your heart, is aligned with your personal values, and then go do it. Take charge, contribute. If you live in a community, you need to contribute to that community. You know, bloom where you are planted and all of that good, karma. Each of us has a gift to share. It doesn't have to cost a lot, except maybe time, brain power, passion, heart. Each of us has something to share. So I guess today my message is, as far as empowerment goes, all the women in this room and all the women that are out in the community that may not be here today, and men, and fathers, and brothers, and uncles, and stepdads, they can empower you if you listen, if you open your heart to their message and ask for help. One of my most interesting learnings, I've got a few gray hairs so I can share my wisdom. If you ask people for help, 99% of the time, they will help you. But you need to ask. And asking takes a certain amount of courage. So you are developing your own leadership. As some of you read in the program, I run the Leadership Institute at Purdue Northwest. And we offer leadership programs and trainings for business and professionals and nonprofits and just regular folks who live in a community and want to be active. But the main thing that we talk about is leadership requires bravery. To be a leader, even a leader in your church, in your faith community, in your neighborhood, on your block, requires courage, because you're sticking your neck out. And sometimes that's uncomfortable. But you know what? That's how we change a community. One person, by one street, by one block, by one neighborhood. And then we get the community that we all want. So my message today, and we'll ask for questions and talk a lot, is find what you're passionate about and then just do it.
What a great table of women to be seated with. It is an honor. I'm so delighted to see all of your wonderful faces, and you all look pretty good today. I think we're kind of styling, right? I see in the back, right? My name is Lori Felt, and I feel like a lot of you I haven't met yet, so I'll tell you a little bit about what I do now and how I got here. I'm with the Indiana Small Business Development Center, and we work with small business owners and people starting businesses every day. We have a great team of 6 advisors. Like this morning, we were teaching bookkeeping at IUN in Gary. Same bookkeeping class we taught in the fall in Michigan City. Would you believe we had more attending in Michigan City, though? So yay for Michigan City. So how I got here, and my favorite part of my job is that I get to meet amazing people who are doing amazing things and just need a little help. So starting and running a business, is it easy? No. How many of you have a business or are starting a business? I see a lot of hands. So I know every raised hands would admit it's hard. It's a journey. There's ups and there's downs and there's further downs and struggles. So all we want to do as an organization is help amazing people do what they're meant to do, just like Sheila described a moment ago. I know a lot of it is heart and determination, but also sometimes people need a hand, a helping hand. And that's what our organization is here to do. There are a lot of women running businesses. I've met some amazing women running businesses, and I see some nods, and you know that it's not easy. What I often see is that they're all on their own, solo businesses, no employees, sometimes not making the kind of living that they really need to make, or doing their business on the side and having that day job. So again, there's help out there, whether it's our organization or Denise's or so many other organizations. And I think awareness and finding out and asking for help, just as Miss Sheila said, is where it's at. Nobody's in this on their own. All you have to do is ask for help, and there are plenty of sources of help out there. We can share more about that in a bit.
You'll raise good questions, and please say who you're wanting to get information from, or if it's a free speaker. So who has a question? Where do you want the mic? Well, I think I can just point it. Well, you guys keep the mic, so there's a hand right there. I'll start out. This is for Lori and for the group, especially young entrepreneurs that are looking for financial assistance. Could you please explain that small business process and how they work with banks to make these loans available, and just kind of give them a general overview of what's entailed in that?
Absolutely, and I appreciate the question. In our organization, we are actually funded by the Small Business Administration. It's a federal agency, and you may have heard about the SBA a lot during COVID. So one of the things the SBA asks us to do, probably the most important thing they ask our organization and others like us to do, is to help people find financing. And honestly, that's probably the most challenging part of starting a new business, is finding funding. Every day, clients come to us, knock on our door, and say exactly what you said. How do you find funding? So as a startup, it's definitely, I wouldn't kid you, it's not easy. Most startups start bootstrapped. They use their own funds, friends and family funds, and try to make it work. But our banks are out there and do have lending ability. It's just that, of course, they're in the business to lend money and get loans paid back. So there's a process involved to get eligible for a loan. Often that's what an SBDC organization or other mentoring organizations are helping people get ready to do. Establish bookkeeping, like we were teaching this morning. Establish a track record so a lender can have confidence that they can provide you some funds and they'll get paid back. I know a lot of people ask about grants for startups, and that's actually a topic we've talked about at a workshop this week too. I'd love to say that there are a lot of grants out there to start businesses, but There are precious few, honestly, out there. Like anything else, it's a proving. You're proving yourself to become eligible for funds. There are sources of funding that a lot of people don't know about. For example, microloans, small loans that are really well suited to a lot of our startups, and the eligibility for those is a little bit easier to meet. So there are organizations like nonprofit lenders who can provide you a small loan to help you get started, to help you prove what you're doing, establish customers and sales, and hopefully be eligible for larger financing later. Am I answering your question? I know this is a complicated topic.
I just wanted them to be aware of what they need to have.
Yep.
Prepare
Okay.
In order to go against.
So the bones of what any lender or source of financing will ask you for, number one, a business plan. A business plan is what you're about, what makes you different from others, how you stand out, who your market is, how you operate as a business. They'll also want to understand how cash flow works in your business. So cash flow projections are like a forecast of how money flows in your business. And they'll look at things like credit score and credit history. So it's a set of documents that help them understand what you are about as an individual entrepreneur and what your business is about and where you're going as a business. And that's definitely something that a lot of the resources I mentioned can help you build. Again, you're not in it alone. I would like to mention one resource because it captures so many. There's something called nwibizhub.com. This is a region-wide Northwest Indiana website, and these blue cards can tell you more, or they're at the resource table over there. There are, I believe, over 80 resources on the hub. I'm looking at Maggie Sparts because I think she was on our team to work on nwibizhub.com. But there's help out there, like I mentioned, whether it's SBDC or many other organizations on the hub that can help you get those kinds of documents together, find out sources of financing, and learn how to run your business better.
Next question. Shy. This one here. Okay. This is for Lori. Does on repayment of that claim, that loan, does it go into effect right away? Or do you give a grace period for that?
So, and while I'm an SBA resource partner, I'm not a funding source. So always try to explain that we're in your corner. We're not the lending source. We just help you get ready for that. There is usually a little bit of a grace period. There's a lot of different kinds of financing, so it kind of depends on what you're eligible for. But yeah, they're going to look for payments relatively soon after you close on that loan. And a lender, I would highly recommend, whether you're ready for financing or not, get to know someone at your bank. They can be a real source of support for you as well. They're not what I would call stingy. They're really with the business's interest at heart as well as their own. They don't want to see someone take on a loan that's not good for them. So your bank can also be a source of support and information for you. Mayor Angie mentioned that fabulous Michigan City grant program. I just want to highlight one aspect of it. It is for businesses who were in business before COVID started, so back in 2020. So any business who was doing business in 2020 or later is eligible for that grant.
2021.
Oh, you changed? Oh. March 2021, Mary Angie is saying. Thank you.
Hear a bit from Denise. She has had her own experience as an entrepreneur. Maybe you could share some of what you did as a budding entrepreneur and establishing yourself.
I've had several businesses. I left the police department in 1996. I've been self-employed. My experiences was a New York Life agent. From there, I became an owner of Crown Liquor Store. After Crown Liquor Store burnt down, I was also at the same time I was a RE/MAX real estate broker. So I've had hats, different hats throughout my life. So as a Remax real estate broker, that was a challenging, very challenging because they wanted a fee whether you made money or not. So from there, I decided to open up my own brokerage, Ships Harborside Realty. Ships Harborside Realty stayed in existence until the bottom fell out of the housing market, and that's when I closed that up. From there, I opened Mama Sue's Cafeteria, which has some very good memories and some bad ones also. My husband actually committed suicide, so that business closed up. But when I say I've had some good experiences there, that was one of my greatest joys. This was my high school sweetheart, and we couldn't get together back then because they beat him up because he was white and I was black. So 40 years later, he came and found me, and that was a great joy to be truly loved. And I know what it's like to truly lose someone that you love. I'm good. I really am, because I have so many more people that are loving on me every day. So being an entrepreneur is a skill set that's not for the weak. If you are easily offended, or if you don't, what do you do when people don't show up to work? You stay at work. What do you do when there's not enough money to pay yourself? You pay the staff. Entrepreneurship is just that. It's work. It's not. It looks good. We make it look good. But at night, we don't sleep because you worry about, well, how am I going to pay the utilities there and at my house? If you have a support system, which I did, my family would just show up and say, hey, I know you need some help here. Don't worry about paying me. But sometimes you really need to have capital funding. There are some investors that privately fund your business. And like she was saying, the SBA does a lot of funding. We're trying to develop something where people can, it's called crowdfunding, where we all put our money in a pot and we can support this person at this avenue. Those are things that will make your business stay in business. There's not a crystal ball to show you what's going to work. You don't know what people want to eat today. You don't know how many people are coming in. What's the most important thing to have on the seat? A person. People want to say, I need that color, I need this color, but you really need people to support you. I think the hardest thing about going to work is when you're sick. You call yourself, you tell yourself you're sick, and you go to work. What else can you do? There's no one else to come in. So it's fun. It really is. Being your own boss, you get to make all the decisions, the good ones and the bad ones. And you sort of like your boss. That's so important. Yeah. Any questions? I'm trying to. Yes.
I just wondered if you could talk about the pros and cons of having done the business, working for somebody else, and then doing it off on your own, like you did with the real estate, as opposed to doing the restaurant. It doesn't sound like you worked for anybody. You just went off and did it on your own. Can you talk about the pros and cons to that?
The pros of working for someone is you have like a parachute. You have someone that's going to catch you if you fall. But when you're working for yourself, you don't. You just have, your faith in God. You get up every day saying, we got this. And when you're working for someone else, you have to go by their rules. I like to break rules. I'm sorry. But I don't mean the bad ones, but I think that, we all have standards of how you want stuff done. And when you have someone that's supervising you that is not as smart as you, it's kind of hard to... I'm not saying what job that was. But I think we all need to be able to respect the person that we are employed by, and I can say that I'm doing that now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
So Denise really shows how hard it is to be a small business owner, but she's also highlighting the pleasure of it. My husband and I started a small business in December 2020. Note the time. So he was working, he's a clinical psychologist, and he was working at Logansport, which is really far away, and he was going every day, and it was a bad scene. So long in the car. And he has a passion for taking care of people, so he was wasting 2 hours one way and 2 hours coming back instead of taking care of people, which is his passion. I work at Purdue Northwest, so I was the stable income earner, and we came up with an idea. We'll start a private practice, but we'll just do it on the weekends and see how we do. So needless to say, Saturdays were jam-packed with patients, and by the end of January, he said, now this is January 2021, he said, Sheila, what do you think if I just quit my job and we'll do the practice full-time? I said, okay, I don't know anything about insurance, and I don't know anything about mental health other than I've been to therapists. But I guess we'll figure this out. So we began to do that. He retired it from his job at the end of February. And guess what happened on March 8th? COVID came full steam ahead. So all of our patients who were so excited that they would have their own slot every week said, bye, we're going to stay home now. And so we lost all of our patients while I continued to go to work. And he would go on bike rides and take walks. And I was like, wait a minute. I didn't sign up for this duty. I'm okay being a parachute, but I don't want to be, So we had a few discussions about that, and he started to do more work around the house and do the laundry and all those kinds of things that we kind of were sharing before. But my point is that things happen when you're opening a small business. Things happen when you're running a small business, and it isn't easy. But I will tell you, 3.5, 4 years in now, it is fantastic. We are making ends meet. It's not a huge amount of money, but it's ours. And we are able to control the kinds of the values that we share with our patients. It's kind of a boutique practice. It's just one clinician and me as the practice manager. When I'm in the evenings, I send out personal reminders to people. On Saturdays, I do the insurance. It's not for the faint of heart, but it is so empowering to know that you are contributing to your community in a good way. So while Denise said she's her own boss and she really likes herself, that's the benefit, is that you don't have to try to be something for someone else or try to meet your boss's expectations, or you have to be value-based yourself and meet your own expectations. So that I wanted to make sure that we showed that there is some power to being a small business owner. It's hard. The money doesn't come very easily. You have to figure it out, and it's not easy, but it is empowering, and you know that you're contributing to your community.
If you could talk a little bit more about the MBA and what it does for small businesses in Michigan City.
Sure. MBA is a baby that we created from the Black Business Association. We realized there were people who thought because it said Black Business Association, they couldn't join. So we made it melanated, MBA, Melanated Business Association of Northwest Indiana. We have always been inclusive, but I think now we have a person that's on our board who is Vietnamese. We have Hispanic members. So we have white members. We are just working with whoever wants to make something happen. We're building entrepreneur at a time. And that's what we're trying to do. All the ladies involved. We have some people that have, and we're a 501c3 now. So what we're able to do is train. We're able to do workshops. with the generous funding of Unity Foundation, of Visit Michigan City, we're able to have empowering training as well as celebrations. You know, we always want to have a community resource person, someone there that has education about the issues that affect melanated people, and that's people of color. Those are the issues that we're trying to make sure that we always pray, we always talk about things that are affecting our community and how can we deal with the problems. The MBA we're starting a 6-week work. Okay. But it's going to be for anyone who has a skill. And if you think you can cook, let's start making it your profession. You can actually make money doing this. I've been doing it for 10 years. And it's you just have to go by the rules. The health department wants us to comply with certain things. They want to make sure that we're not serving something that hasn't been temped. You know, you need to have the precautions are in place so that you don't get sick. And then we're trying to make sure people are getting that class that they need. There's a Serve Safe certification that you can take the test once you complete the 6 weeks training. So anyone that thinks that they that's just one of the workshops that we're doing. We're developing things that you want. We're not just sitting around twiddling our thumbs thinking about what should we do next. We're doing a hygiene for our teenagers. Because some of the young people are getting bullied, we're just giving them some of the things that they don't have. The hygiene, the feminine products. And thank you for helping us with allowing us to do the things that we do in this community.
First one is what you just said about the programs and stuff that you guys are offering. What is the promotion and advertising for that look like, and how can we know about it and spread the word to make sure it's benefited all the women that can benefit? Also, my second question is, outside of business, what resources are out there for the non-profits? I know I am a part of the Ms. Becky Williams, who has a whole program of entrepreneurs. The program that we supported to actually successful and know how to be an entrepreneur. What have you wanted to kind of go about doing the same thing and having a youth program to raise those children up? What resources are out there?
No, I don't know.
So there are a lot of great things happening for young people, and I feel like there are some students in the house somewhere, maybe middle schoolers. One of my favorite things that happens each year is called the Innovate Within High School Business Pitch Competition. I would encourage you to check it out. The actual regional event will be in April 19th at Purdue Northwest in Hammond. And that's where high school entrepreneurship teens will compete, stand up, do a pitch, and be judged, and hopefully have the opportunity to go downstate. If you haven't heard about Innovate Within, we've had an extraordinarily successful region at this competition, and these students blow your mind. They're rock stars. There's so much talent out there, and so often what it starts with is that the students see a problem and develop a solution that turns into a business. So it's related to their own lives. It's related to what they observe. Some of our high schools are more involved in this program than others. There's been some great successes among some high schools, particularly in Lake County, like Hobart and Munster. But I dearly hope our LaPorte County high schools will get more involved in this. My 3 kids went to a LaPorte County high school, and nothing like this program was available then. But it's a fantastic gem. You mentioned resources for nonprofits. I would sing the praises of the mentoring organization called SCORE. In particular, there's 1 or 2 mentors at SCORE who have deep expertise in starting and sustaining a nonprofit. So again, seeking help, seeking a mentor is the way to go, whether you're a nonprofit or a small business. I mean, there are a lot of things in common among those two things, but how businesses and nonprofits sustain themselves are very different, right? A business sustains itself by selling products and services to customers, where a nonprofit, it's more in the area of grants, donations, sponsorships, and so forth. So a business plan is really important for a nonprofit too, and a mentor could help with that.
I am a SCORE mentor, and I am I brought a lot of information here, but we're developing a website, the MBA of Northwest Indiana, and on that website we're going to be letting you know, and we're also doing a newsletter. So the information is going to be coming out, and I'm always on Facebook. Yeah, I try to get it on there as much as I can. We didn't get funding, but we do have a program for, it's called New Beginning Entrepreneurship Training. It is for people that are formerly incarcerated. It's for mothers that are not able to leave home. But if you have a passion for something, we want to give you that opportunity to let people know what your passion is. And that's what we're going to be developing. It's a 6-month program.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Unity Foundation has small grant programs. United Way has programs for nonprofits that are doing service. In fact, the City of Michigan City has the Michigan City Enrichment Corporation that, last I checked, had invested $19 million in the nonprofit / education / youth services world. So there's an application online under the City of Michigan City's website, Michigan City Enrichment Corporation, and that's gaming revenue that was sliced off the money that comes into the city and is set aside for nonprofit support for youth and education and social services. So please make sure that you look up that application, because it's a rigorous application, but if you're doing great work, they'll invest in your organization. Go ahead.
You have to be louder. How can I, as a middle schooler, start to prepare for my own business?
What do you like to do? What do you like to do? What do you like to do? If you were going to start a business, what do you like to do? That's the first thing you have to decide. What are you passionate about? We have some entrepreneurs. I think they're called kidpreneur. We have. I couldn't hear. What did she say?
She said writing.
Your passion is writing? So you could probably start letting people read some of your writing. That would be a start. And then try to get some published. There's different avenues. You can start reading. Is it poetry that you do? Or are you writing books? Books. There are kids that are producing books now. So that's a possibility.
The arts made, they have programs for artists who are young people too.
There's some resources right in this room. I'm looking over here at a writer that we have who is self-published. So as a former English teacher, I want to tell you, if you've got a good English teacher at your school, you need to go talk to him or her and tell them that you would like to start a small business and pick their brain. As I said earlier, if you ask people for help, they generally, 99% of the time, they will help you. Even if it's just sifting through your ideas and coming up with a winning solution. But the group gave you your answer. Find what you're passionate about and then develop a plan, because even if you're young, it's no time like today to get started.
Lori asked how did we all decide what our passions were, right? I remember studying liberal arts in college, but working for a few businesses during the summer where I realized, oh my gosh, I just like to sell stuff is what I thought I liked to do. So I got a job in sales, and then I realized, wow, this is really great. I love selling, but I don't understand anything about business, so I need to learn more about business. And what I discovered was what I really love is marketing, building businesses. So for a long time, I spent time with a big company helping them build their business, and now what I love to do is help small businesses build theirs. So I think it's a journey, and you see threads in what you do. Maybe those of us who are in the middle of our careers see threads in common that lead us to find a way to start a business that builds on those threads that are our passions. I see that a lot. Side businesses turning into full-time businesses as people gain speed with their business built on what they love most.
I actually went to school to be an elementary school teacher. After 2 years, I took a exploratory teaching class, and I realized I didn't like that much. So it was hard. But I've learned over the years that if you have something to offer, your passion is that. I like helping people. I like empowering people. And I love to cook. So those are the things that I do well.
Love it. So when I went to college, I'm a first generation American, and I decided I wanted to take political science courses. I didn't really know what they were, but it was the women's movement, and there were so many fabulous women professors on campus. So I started to get into politics, political science. So I was at the end of my sophomore year, my father, ever the practical man, said, "So Sheila, what are you going to be when you grow up?" And I said, "Well, I'm not sure." And he said, "Well, what does political science prepare you for?" And I said, "I'm really not sure." And so he said, "Well, you need to be able to do something. So you can either be a nurse or a teacher." And he went through the things that he knew in his world. So I switched to education because I wanted to be able to do something. And so I came out of school and I became a teacher. And I love teaching. I did it for 5 years. I taught English, language arts. I loved it. But I realized what I loved about it was the creativity of it and helping people. And so when I began to start having my family, I realized that I didn't want to be a teacher forever, but I wanted to use that passion of helping people to do something else. And I really got involved in politics totally by happenstance because the playgrounds at Fetters Alley were the playgrounds we would walk to, and they were all broken. Swings were broken, everything was rusty, and so I would say, I'll call the park department and see if they'll fix it. And I kept calling, and they'd say, "Thank you for the call, we'll get to it." And nobody ever came. And so I went back to the park and I said, parents, ladies, grandmas, nobody will fix the broken swings and the rusty slide. So I'm going to go to the meeting. So I went to the first time I went to a public meeting, and I was scared to death. I was, 27 years old or something. And I stood under public comment, and I said, "I'm here to ask if you could please fix the rusty park equipment at Fetters Alley." And they said, "Ma'am, thank you so much for coming. We'll put that on the list." So I went back to the park, and I was so proud of myself. I was scared, but I was so proud. So I went back to the park and told all the parents and grandmas, "Don't worry, they're coming." I went to the park meeting, and they were going to fix it. And so then we waited, and they never came. And now they got my Irish up. I was like, wait a minute. So we waited about 2 months, and nobody ever came. First of all, it was embarrassing because I went back and acted like I solved the problem, and it didn't get solved. And second of all, they ignored me, and I was, this is not okay. So what did I do? It was my first political action. I got all the parents to come with me. And at the next park department meeting, we had like 25 moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, teenagers who came and stood in the line, and each said something about the rusty park equipment that wasn't safe for children. And the next day, guess what? The trucks were in Fetters Alley, and they were fixing it. So I use that as an analogy about political power. Each one of us has it. You know, for me, that was an important issue because safety for children is really important. And kids were like leaning on one side of the slide to get down so they wouldn't cut themselves on the rusty metal. It was terrible. But the power of our voices together, women, men, girls, our voices are powerful. Together, we can make change happen. And so I talk to you about that because really that's the power of the vote. That's the power of your presence. That's the power of our combined voices. Thank you.
Some resources at the table back there, so give it a chance. Grab what you need and I'll just back. I just asked for Sheila, we had what to do. If I know we started, because I was the baby for 2 years and I was a building officer. So I had an opportunity to live in running small business. And I looked down and they did. There's the whole process of going through trying to get funding and start business, whole money, not only money, just money. And for Sheila, your job at Purdue, leadership is a part of it. Can you share with the entrepreneurs how leadership affects running a business successfully? The key elements to being a good leader.
Thanks, Pat. So Pat mentioned that I work at the Leadership Institute at Purdue Northwest, and we develop programs and training for professionals, for managers, for supervisors, because leadership is not just something that you are born with. You never look at a brand new baby and say, boy, isn't he or she a sweet little leader? No, leadership is a muscle that you develop, and it's a muscle that's really required to be good at what you do. You need to develop your leadership muscle. And so it's a set of skills that you can learn. Leadership LaPorte County does a wonderful job in training people to be leaders, making you aware of the skills that you need to be a leader. You want to go to the next level, Purdue Northwest has, under the College of Business, has a program that gives you a toolbox of skills that helps you to be a stronger, better leader and good at what you're attempting in your small business or in your professional life. Thank you, Pat.
Oh, thank you guys so much for being on the panel and for sharing all your information and knowledge with us. Thank you guys for coming. And again, please fill out that survey. That will help us determine what our next events are and what we want to focus on and what information you need to be successful here in Michigan City. So thank you so much for coming. Oh, please take a goodie bag with you as you leave. What's that?
Can you drop your survey?
Okay. You can drop your survey at the desk or just leave it on your table and we'll get it too.